Okay, so let me tell you about the time someone walked away from me and I was yesterday's leftovers, and I spent the next 3 weeks crafting the perfect I'm doing amazing without you. Text message. I wrote it, deleted it, rewrote it, made it casual but not too casual, added a joke, removed the joke because it seemed try hard, sent it to 4 friends for approval. And then you know what I did? I never sent it. Because somewhere between draft 17 and my dignity kicking in, I realized something wild. The people who regret losing you don't need a PowerPoint presentation about how great you are doing. They just need you to disappear and become genuinely better. And that drives them absolutely insane. So if you're sitting here wanting someone to realize they messed up, wanting them to see what they lost, wanting them to feel even a fraction of what you felt when they left, I got you. But here's the thing, we're going to do this the smart way, the psychology way, the way that actually works and doesn't make you look desperate. Because nothing says I'm totally over you like sending a 3 paragraph essay about how over them you are. Let's fix that. Here's what most people do when someone leaves them. They post gym selfies immediately. They're out here acting happy on social media like their life is a music video. They're liking other people's posts, hoping their ex sees it. They're dropping subtle hints about how much better they're doing. They might even accidentally, on purpose, show up at places they know their ex will be. And look, I get it. When someone walks away, your brain goes into overdrive trying to prove you are fine. But here's the brutal truth. All of that screams, I'm not over you, and I need you to know I'm okay. It's performative healing, and the person who left you, they can smell that desperation from 3 zip codes away. Real talk. I once posted a photo at a coffee shop trying to look all peaceful and moved on, and my friend texted me, dude, you hate coffee. What are you doing? I was doing too much. We've all been there. The psychology behind this is actually fascinating. When someone leaves you, your ego takes a hit. Your brain interprets rejection as a threat to your value as a person. So, you try to restore that value by proving to them, and honestly to yourself, that you're still worthy. That's normal. That's human. But it's also exhausting, and it doesn't work. Because the more you try to show someone you're fine, the more you're admitting they still have power over you. So here's what you're going to do instead. And this is going to feel impossible at first, but trust me on this. You're going to actually disappear. Not dramatically, not with a big announcement, not with a this is my last message or I need space speech. You just stop existing in their world. You don't block them trying to make a statement. You don't unfollow them in a way they'll notice. You just go quiet. Radio silence. And I don't mean for a week until they text you and you cave. I mean for real. The psychology term for this is called the law of scarcity. Things become more valuable when they're rare. When you're always available, always responding, always showing up in their orbit, you're everywhere. You're common. But when you disappear, when they can't find you, can't predict you, can't access you, suddenly you become the most interesting person in their mental space. What? Yeah, the same person who didn't appreciate you when you were around will absolutely start wondering about you the second you're gone. It's twisted, but it's human nature. Here's what happens in their brain when you actually vanish. At first, they don't notice. They're probably busy convincing themselves they made the right choice. Maybe they're even talking to someone new, or enjoying their freedom, or whatever story they told themselves about why they needed to leave. That's fine, let them have that. But then a week passes, 2 weeks, a month, and they realize you haven't texted, haven't called, haven't liked their posts, haven't shown up anywhere. And their brain starts asking questions. Where are they? What are they doing? Are they okay? Did they move on already? Wait, did they even care? And that's when the regret seeds get planted. Because humans have this weird thing where we only realize what we had once, it's completely gone. As long as you're still accessible, still visible, still in their life in any capacity, they don't have to miss you. But make yourself impossible to find. And suddenly, they're checking their phone, wondering why you're not checking yours. Now, here's the important part that most people mess up. You're not disappearing to play games. You're not doing this to manipulate them into coming back. If that's your only goal, you've already lost because you're still making them the center of your universe. You're disappearing because you genuinely need to heal and move on with your life. The regret they might feel is just a side effect of you actually becoming better. This is the difference between fake it till you make it and actually making it. When you're genuinely improving, when you're actually investing in yourself, when you're really building a life that excites you, it shows. And that version of you, the one who's not sitting around waiting for them to notice, that's the version that makes people regret walking away. So let's talk about how to actually become that person, because I know right now you're probably eating ice cream at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday, watching videos about your ex. No judgment, I've been there. I lived there for a month once. First thing you need to do is get off social media for a bit. I know that sounds dramatic, but hear me out. Every time you post something, you're doing it with them in the back of your mind. Is this good enough? Will they see this? Will they care? That's not healing, that's performing. Take a break, a real one. 2 weeks minimum. Go live your actual life without documenting it. Go do things because you want to do them, not because they'll make a good story. The freedom you'll feel when you stop curating your life for an audience of one person who doesn't even care is absolutely wild. I did this once, and by day 10, I forgot I was supposed to be trying to make someone jealous. I was just having fun. And that's when it clicked. The goal isn't to make them regret losing you. The goal is to become someone who doesn't need them to regret it. Here's what you do with all that energy you've been spending on them. You redirect it, all of it, into yourself. And before you roll your eyes at me for saying work on yourself, like that's not the most generic advice ever, let me explain what I actually mean. I'm not talking about becoming a whole new person, or fixing everything wrong with you, or hitting the gym 5 times a week, even though you hate it. I'm talking about doing the thing you said you'd do, but never had time for because you were too busy being in a relationship. Learn that skill, start that project, take that trip, read that book. Whatever it is, do it now. Not to show them, not to prove anything. Do it because you finally can. When someone is gone from your life, you get back the most valuable resource you have. Your time and mental energy. Use it. I spent 6 months after a breakup learning to cook, and I'm not even joking when I say it changed my life more than that relationship ever did. Now let's talk about what happens when they eventually reach out. Because they will. Maybe not today, maybe not next month, but at some point, curiosity will get the better of them, and they'll send that casual "hey," or "I was just thinking about you," or worse, the dreaded "you" up text at midnight. This is the test. This is where most people fumble the entire game. They've done all this work, they've been silent, they've improved, and then one text comes through, and they're right back to paragraph responses and being available at 2 a.m. Don't do that. When they reach out, you respond like you would to an old coworker you barely remember, polite but distant. "Hey, yeah, I'm good. Hope you are too." That's it. No questions. No "how have you been?" No opening the door for conversation. You're not being mean, you're just not interested. And that response, that lack of enthusiasm, will do more damage to their ego than any angry paragraph you could have sent. The psychology here is beautiful. They reached out expecting you to be excited. They expected you to have been waiting for this moment. When you respond like they're just another notification, their brain short circuits. Wait, they really moved on? They don't care anymore? What happened to the person who used to care so much? And that's when the real regret hits. Not when you tell them you're doing great, when you show them through pure indifference that you genuinely are. There's this concept in psychology called intermittent reinforcement. It's the same thing that makes slot machines addictive. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't, and that unpredictability keeps you hooked. When you were always available, always responsive, you were predictable. They knew exactly where you stood. But now you're a mystery. And humans are obsessed with solving mysteries, especially when the mystery is someone who used to be an open book. Here's the thing nobody tells you about making someone regret losing you. Sometimes they won't regret it. Sometimes they'll move on and never look back, and you'll never get that satisfaction of knowing they realized they messed up. And you know what? That's actually perfect. Because if your whole healing process depends on them feeling bad, you're not healing. You're just waiting. And waiting for someone else to validate your worth is the slowest form of self-destruction I know. The real power move is becoming so genuinely okay with their absence that whether they regret it or not becomes irrelevant. I know that's not the revenge fantasy you came here for. You wanted me to tell you they'll definitely come crawling back and you'll get to reject them, and it'll feel amazing. And maybe that'll happen, but maybe it won't. Either way, you need to be good. You need to be so focused on your own life that their regret is just background noise. Let me tell you what happened with my situation. The person who left me like yesterday's leftovers. They did eventually reach out. It took 4 months. I had stopped thinking about them by then. I was genuinely busy with my life, genuinely happy, genuinely unbothered. And when that text came through, I felt nothing. Not satisfaction, not anger, not even curiosity, just nothing. I responded with a short, polite message and went back to what I was doing. And apparently, that drove them crazy. They tried again a few weeks later. Same energy from me. Eventually, they stopped. And here's the wild part. I don't even know if they regret losing me. I genuinely don't care anymore. The version of me that needed them to regret. It died somewhere between month 2 and month 3 of actually working on myself. The version that exists now has bigger things to think about than whether someone who couldn't see my value finally figured it out. So here's your actual homework. And I need you to take this seriously. For the next 30 days, you're going dark. No contact. No social media stalking, even if they'll never know. No asking mutual friends about them. No driving past their place. No accidentally on purpose being where they might be. 30 days of genuinely focusing on yourself. And I don't care if you spend it learning French, or binge watching shows, or reorganizing your entire house. Just do something that's for you, and only you. The end of 30 days, I promise you'll feel different. You might still miss them. That's fine. Missing someone doesn't mean you need them back. But you'll have proven to yourself that you can exist without them. And that proof, that evidence that you're capable of being okay alone, that's what builds real confidence. That's what makes you genuinely magnetic. That's what makes people regret walking away. Not your words, not your posts, your energy. And look, I know this is hard. I know you want them to hurt the way you hurt. I know you want them to realize they made a mistake. I know you want that movie moment where they show up and apologize, and you get to decide whether to forgive them. Those feelings are valid. But the truth is, the best revenge isn't making them regret losing you. It's genuinely not caring if they do. It's building a life so full and beautiful and exciting that they become a footnote in your story instead of the main character. It's waking up one day and realizing you haven't thought about them in a week. That's the real victory, not their regret, your freedom. So, yeah, make them regret losing you if you want, but do it by actually losing them. Do it by disappearing into your own amazing life. Do it by becoming someone who doesn't need their validation to know your worth. Do it by being so genuinely okay that when they do reach out, and maybe they will, maybe they won't, you respond with the energy of someone who's already moved on. Because here's the secret they don't tell you about breakups: the person who heals first wins. Not because winning matters, but because healing is the whole point. Everything else is just noise. Here at Cyclipsius, we don't just talk about psychology, we make it make sense. If this video helped you realize that your ex losing you is their loss, not yours, hit that subscribe button. Next week, we're breaking down why you keep attracting the same type of person and how to finally break that cycle. Trust me, you're going to want to watch that one. Your future self is already thanking you for choosing yourself today. Now close this video and go start those 30 days. Make yourself disappear. Not for them, for you. You've got this.